What's going on, guys? Hope everyone is doing well. And I figured go live. I really don't like this mic in my face all the time, but regardless, good audio is key. So I figured I'd talk a little bit with you guys if you had any questions regarding what happened to me with my Mavic 3 Cine. Some people seem to have questions to why they were really perplexed about why I wasn't using my smart controller, the new one, and I was using my standard controller. But regardless of all of that, that shouldn't have mattered in having a flyaway type incident or losing connection. But yeah, I do have the Cine. I did lose the Cine. I do have the smart controller, and it actually is pretty nice, but I just wasn't getting to that point of reviewing the drone flying with my smart controller yet. For me, in my mind, I wanted to fly what I already knew I could fly well with. So I used a standard controller because that's what I've been flying with for, Mini 2, Air 2, Air 2S. So I'm really comfortable with it. And I figured why mess around with a new device and risk something possibly happening, but who knows? It could have possibly not happened. Maybe the connectivity thing wouldn't have broke if I had my new smart controller that's still in a Ziploc bag. But at the same time, then I would have probably blamed my smart controller, as I mentioned before. But I don't know if anyone's actually here. Let me see. Hope everyone's doing well too. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving, so lots to be thankful for. Not losing drones is not one of them. But let me see. I never can kind of see where the comments are with this. Options, window, comments and reactions. There we go. What's going on? Maybe comments so I can kind of see. I think it has to like populate. Maybe if there's no comments yet. But yeah, I mean, it was really pretty horrific little incident for a drone flying kind of day. You don't want to lose any kind of bigger value drone. Even any drone really kind of stinks. Maybe a Mini 2 isn't super horrific, but Mavic 2 Pro I've crashed before. That was not fun. You never crashed, knock on wood, at Inspire, but that would be a really bad flyaway to have. But at the same time, honestly, if I was in the city and I was in that whole zone with a lot of buildings where it's really tough to spot your drone, and Inspire would have been probably, yeah, thanks, William, appreciate it. It's like mourning a loved one. But yeah, I mean, it stinks, but I guess it could be worse. I'm sure DJI will sort it out. I mean, I talked to them already, and they basically said it most likely, this is like, quote, most likely was a hardware or firmware update, not your fault. So I don't know what that meant, but that's what I was told by one of the main DJI reps. So I don't know if that's a good thing or an unnerving thing. But at the same time, as I said, I had my Mavic 2 Zoom when I was flying in the city, not in the same spot, but I had my Mavic 2 Zoom get stuck in the air and not want to land. And I literally got to 6% battery. And the thing just finally came down and landed, thankfully. But I was super nervous. I was basically waiting for that thing to fall out of the sky. I had never even experienced anything like that, but I sent in the drone to DJI and they gave me a new one out of warranty, saying they didn't even really tell me what exactly went wrong. They just replaced it with the controller and said, there you go, we're covering it. You don't have to be out of pocket or out of a refresh. And I have a feeling this is going to be the same kind of scenario, but again, I had a lot of really, really beautiful footage on that drone, on that SSD. So that's actually one of the scary things with having a 1 terabyte SSD. If something does happen, you lose a lot of footage. So even if it is all ProRes, you're still losing. I don't know how the audio sounds. Is it clipping at all? If it sounds all right, let me know. If it sounds bad, I will lower the, let me see. I just updated my OS, so I'm not sure how it is. Changed a few settings. Yeah, but again, basically what was happening, I took off in the city in a place that I've flown probably, just so you guys are aware, 40 or 50 times, and it is a high risk area. There is a lot of interference. You can go into ADI mode, which I was prepared for, but it's a hard place to spot your drone physically. I did have visual line of sight on it. I was watching it, and for some reason where I was standing or sitting was on one side of the river, and it registered the home point on the opposite side of the river. So it was really confusing to know where to even search for the drone, because the little arrow, which apparently indicates there's a blue dot in your Find My Drone thing, the blue dot's supposedly you, and the little arrow is where the drone was last spotted. So the arrow was showing on my side of the river, basically by these buildings, by this hotel. I actually got access to the roofs. We looked on a couple different rooftops. They were able to look at the roofs next to the building, and no drone. So I tried to search that area and comb it as best as I could. But then the home point, I realized later, was on the opposite side of the river by the Trump Hotel. So in theory, if it were to land, it would have probably gone back to the home point, which was not anywhere near where I actually took off. So everything was basically off throughout the entire flight. I just didn't know that. So it's hard to really, prevent this, guys, I guess, from happening. I don't know how you would prevent it. I mean, maybe just by not flying, but the footage was really epic, and I think people would have been really impressed with the quality of the footage and the flying, and also the ProRes and the Mavic 3, of course, because it looked extremely, extremely nice, and I wasn't able to actually look at the footage and see if if it was actually as beautiful as it looked on the display. But that drone definitely flies nice, and it was odd because earlier I posted something saying how amazing the transmission was on the Mavic 3 Cine. And it seemed it was, but something happened. As I said, I was flying, watching the drone physically come to me. It was in front of a black building between these Trump Tower and this place called Marina Towers, and it was kind of hard to spot, but I was watching it, and it just kind of stopped and wouldn't actually go further, so I threw it in the sport mode, thinking it was going to maybe break through some winds or a gust or something. And then I realized that wasn't doing anything, and then all of a sudden it broke connection, and I basically had nothing on my controller or my iPhone. And then I was trying to fumble with that and take out the lightning cable and restart my app and everything. I looked up and the drone wasn't there. Pardon me. So it's a very hard place to spot the drone, as I said. Once you kind of take your eye off it, it almost is, not an easy drone to see. The dark gray definitely is not optimal in my opinion. I mean, that is an Autel positive for sure, having a bigger orange bright drone in the sky, but nothing against the Mavic Cine. I mean, the Mavic 3 Cine. It was actually an amazing drone to fly while I had it. I was having a great day, so I thought. I mean, I went out and flew in Chicago in the morning. It was a really beautiful day, super kind of peaceful, and not a lot of people out. There wasn't a lot of traffic out for whatever reason, maybe because it's Thanksgiving week, but just got some epic footage over the lake, and some of the, I took it to altitude in a couple spots where I can do that legally. Just got really, really nice sweeping long shots, really drawn out, super cinematic kind of stuff. So I was going to do a Chicago Cine cinematic ProRes edit, essentially. And yep. I don't know what happened, honestly. It really pretty disheartening. I was flying in Chicago and having a really amazing day, and the whole goal was to load that SSD to its 1 terabyte capacity to do a video on offloading it and seeing how fast it would be to do that. And I was shooting everything in 5K ProRes, and then I was using the 2x zoom only. So I was going to, in theory, come out with a really beautiful edit on the Cine with all ProRes and then the 2x zoom. So kind of taking the best of both of the lenses, and had a really amazing morning, flying a couple batteries, went to one other zone, and flying the drone back to me. It was probably a half a block from me physically. So I was watching the drone, and then it just stopped dead in its tracks. And I threw it in the sport mode, as I said, didn't do anything. broke total connection from my controller. I went down trying to mess with it, looked back up thinking it was still going to be hovering in the same spot. It wasn't. I lost sight of it, and I don't even know what happened to it. I mean, the possibility, I was over the river at the time. I mean, someone was saying maybe the battery popped out. I really have no clue what happened. All I know is totally lost connection, totally lost control. I had no, it wasn't doing anything with my stick inputs. So it was a pretty heavy hit though for 4 grand. I mean, I did have refresh on it, and I'm sure they're going to do right by it. I'm hoping. I mean, I'm expecting actually. So they supposedly said when I talked to one of the main DJI reps in California, because he's dealing with my Inspire 2 issue, they just swapped out my Inspire 2 with a brand new Inspire 2. They just swapped out my Mavic 2 Zoom with a brand new Mavic 2 Zoom. Both incidences, or the issues that I was having with the Inspire 2 and the Mavic 2 Zoom, were not my fault. They confirmed it. And with this one, they said most likely it was a hardware firmware issue. Don't worry, we take our flyways seriously, essentially, and that we're going to handle it like ASAP. So I kind of dealt with my Inspire 2 issue first, and now I'm dealing with this Cine, hoping to get one back in my hands really quickly. But again, you can't really push it. You just got to do it in the order that they want you to. And I don't know. I mean, what do you think, Drone X Factor? I don't even know what your name is, your first name. I should know that. Anthony. So, but yeah, it stinks, man. It really is a bummer. I mean, I lost probably 500 gigs of really, really good footage that I, probably will never see. That's the hardest part as a photographer or anything. When you lose a camera or have something stolen or whatever it may be, not being able to see the footage. Oh yeah, right on, Xavier. Yeah, I mean, I've been watching some of your videos and other people's videos too. I mean, I looked at the flight log. I'm not sharing it publicly because I was kind of told not to. And apparently DJI was saying most people can't even read the Mavic 3 log files yet. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of funny because I looked at what I had on my Fly app, and it kind of looked like the drone was drunk. I mean, it was literally my home point updated where I was sitting in my app because I was doing a screen recording of this entire flight because I was going to do a YouTube video on it. So that's good, I guess. I have some proof. But it updated the home point where I was sitting, but the home point apparently updated across the river from where I was at. So it didn't show the little home area, the home point zone. It showed it across the river for me. So, I mean, the whole entire thing was off. I don't know what went on, but definitely some kind of major interference. It almost felt like someone effed with the drone in a way. It was weird because it just stopped dead in its tracks. I mean, it literally was flying, pushing forward on the right stick, and it just stopped moving. Threw it in the sport mode, thinking I was going to break through some winds. It wasn't that windy. It was probably 20-mile-an-hour gusts, maybe a little bit more between buildings. And of course, in the city with kind of like canal zones, but threw it back into, positioning mode, normal mode, whatever you want to say. And again, broke instant connection from my app. Like it literally was saying, like, do you want to select the Mavic 3, Mavic 2, blah, blah, blah. Like I had nothing. I had no feed on my iPhone 13 Pro Max because, again, I wasn't using the new smart controller. I have it in a bag only because I got a cat and I don't want cat hair all over it. But, I mean, as I said, I wasn't flying with the smart controller, and I don't think that should have had anything to do with it. But did you look at the flight log? Yeah, I mean, I did. And again, I'm still waiting from DJI to give me instructions on how to upload it because apparently I don't know what it is. Like the place that I'm dealing with is DJI Arizona, where I actually bought a couple of my drones from. So I'm dealing with them, and then they're kind of working with the reps. But they know about the issue, and I'm just waiting on them to actually kind of get going on all of it. So I haven't even updated the flight logs to them. That's why I'm not sharing them with anyone yet. And I just got an email come across right now from here, let me see, from DJI saying Inspire 2. So they're replacing my Inspire 2 under warranty. So, I mean, apparently DJI definitely has some issues because, again, I had my Mavic 2 have issues kind of similar to this where I literally couldn't land the drone. It was stuck at 600 feet in the city, thankfully over a park where I was flying. I mean, I try to fly as safely as I can. So I was over this park, just me, and the thing physically wouldn't land. Got to like 6% battery, and it finally force landed. But what insurance? I use Skywatch personally. I mean, I have refresh if I'm doing something with the bigger job, definitely Skywatch with like whatever they want for a rider. Right now I have $1 million liability and stuff, but you can do it kind of per job basis as well, which is nice. Yeah, I mean, vintage slots, it sucks because I had a lot of stuff, as I said, just on that hard drive, footage wise. I mean, actually, I was flying with a two-time lens in the city. I was probably 1,000 feet in the air. And man, it was pretty darn. It looked epic, actually. It looked really good. I don't know about epic, but it looked really, really beautiful. Like compressing a building with the city in the background, doing like that parallax kind of motion. I mean, it was just super nice. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, Xavier, I'm not sure. It felt like all I know is I was flying one time by the Trump Towers, and apparently people at the Trump Towers are super paranoid or something. I don't know because the cops were telling me that. They're like, they get so many complaints, and people really don't like drones flying by that building for some reason. So I don't know, but I wasn't actually even in front of Trump Towers. I was flying towards Trump Towers. So I don't know. I actually had a contact. People have been really great, actually. I had a lot of people. I had like the superintendent for that area of the city, like, I don't know, police. I had like other people looking for the drone. I had people from the Trump Tower looking all the terraces for me. People have been really kind on trying to help find the drone and locate it. So kind of a positive thing that came from it. I mean, a lot of energy was poured out on trying to help me at least recover the drone. And I think people are still looking. Actually, some guy sent me text today saying they notified their crew, and who knows? I mean, I think either it's on a rooftop, it's in the river, which is probably where it's at, or it's just somewhere where someone took it already. I mean, yeah, it stinks. I was so stoked to share with everyone the footage. Honestly, I think it would have been probably one of my best Chicago edits ever, even with I mean, even over my Inspire, because I don't fly my Inspire, as much because it's such a big drone and it's a harder drone to fly in the city with such a big presence to it. So I was able to get a lot of footage with that little Mavic 3 Cine. Vintage slots, what's going on with yours? What are deal killers? Just I'm curious to what you think that is, because I could feel that about certain things. I was having a lot of Horizon issues leveling out personally. I mean, it did fly really beautifully. I mean, it's super agile and nimble and responsive. I mean, there's no doubt about that. That thing just cuts through the winds. I mean, it flies better than my Autel. I'm not going to hate on it. But at the same time, like here, I'm working on an edit for a job. Hold on a second. Let me put aside this. I got a cat who's just going nuts. He gets so jealous when I do anything like this. Siamese. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, everyone has. Yeah, I mean, let me see. I've noticed my Cine has a very strong twitch. Yeah, that's not good. No, nothing, Vincent. I mean, as I said, it would have been a sick joke anyway, because I saw what was being filmed, obviously. So I knew that I had some epic shots. I mean, I had some really good footage. I was testing the cameras too. I brought my Autel, my Evo 2 Pro with me, but I was going to do a side-by-side comparison, but I ended up just focusing more on the stills for the side-by-side comparison, and I just flew basically the shit out of my Cine. So I flew basically all ProRes, as I said, loaded up that SSD, at least I was about to, had probably 500 gigs of footage on it, and then I just shot the rest into 2x zoom. I mean, I think 2x zoom looks pretty good. I don't know. I didn't think 4x does or 7x or anything above that. It's just a joke, obviously, but the 2x had a purpose, in my opinion. At least so it seemed. I mean, I barely had the opportunity to truly review it. In explore mode, when zoom is 4 or less, main camera is used. Oh, I didn't even know that. So when you're using 2 times zoom, it's actually using the micro four thirds bottom camera. Huh. Yeah, I mean, as I said, there's a lot to that drone that I still didn't know. I mean, I was just getting to kind of get comfortable with it a little bit and know it. I mean, it had a nice feel. I mean, it was kind of one of those things in the beginning you're not superly wowed with, but little kind of, just small little things. I mean, when you took it out, actually the gimbal cover started to grow on me a little bit. I mean, obviously I thought it could have been improved upon as far as the look wise, but I mean, it had little nuances about the drone that felt pretty good. And again, the way it flew was awesome. So I didn't know that. I thought it was actually utilizing the zoom lens. Yeah, then that zoom lens is pointless, man. Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't think the 7 looked that good, personally, but yeah, that's an easy way to do it. Simon, chill out. Can you hear the Siamese? Holy cow, he's so needy. But I should try to get him on camera. Simon, if you want a little channel, a YouTube channel. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go above 7 times anyway. As I said, thanks, Robert. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I've had issues with a lot. I mean, I've crashed pretty much. I didn't crash this, though. That was the thing. I mean, I really don't know what happened with it. It was very bizarre to literally not be able to find your drone in the sky and then have zero transmission to actually go by and have. I mean, it was just a crappy situation. I mean, I didn't want to even feel like I was giving up or resigning, but after a certain point, hitting the return to home button, literally I couldn't see the drone, I couldn't hear the drone. Yeah, I'll have to watch it, Vintage. Yeah, mine tries to make little cameos too. He's really hating life. I just moved into a new little place and I don't have a balcony. Like I had a balcony on my second floor and he would go out safely and kind of hang out. And he's just totally hating life right now because he doesn't have his outside time and I don't want to let him out because it's too crazy out there where I'm at. Yeah, I mean, it probably is good for a lot of things. As I said, I really wanted to get a cinematic reel put together with this drone, and I think people would have been impressed, honestly, not just with what I was capturing, but with the drone's ability. I mean, I was flying pretty well. I was kind of one of those days, as I said before, where I was impressed with myself. I was getting really good shots, and it just felt good. So the drone actually felt good. I mean, I don't know. It flew really well. It made it kind of easy to get nice movements, basically, is what I'm saying. I mean, it handled well in the winds. It just is so strange that it literally stopped dead in its tracks, wasn't responsive, and then basically couldn't find it. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's good for stuff like that. I mean, it has its purpose. I just don't think, I think it should have been more of a cinematic type drone. Yeah, I will. Yeah, thanks, Xavier. You're going to bed? Time is it there? Yeah, happy Thanksgiving too. Yeah, it did. I mean, it does really well in the winds, right? Cat, what are you doing? Cat's licking his butt. I mean, oh, right on. Happy Thanksgiving. But, I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's just a pain in the butt having all this kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be afraid. I mean, honestly, if I got another one, I would basically go back to the same location and just effing charge it because it kind of pisses me off that it happened and I want to know what happened. Like, I want to know why. And maybe I'd just have to get a visual observer and just pay really close attention to it, but I'm pissed off kind of in a way that I lost it. I mean, it's not a good feeling losing your footage and losing a drone. I mean, as I said before when it first happened, when you're driving away from the city and you have your drone somewhere with your footage on it and you know you're just leaving it behind, it really kind of sucks. Obviously, it could be way worse. Thankfully, we have health and everything, but still, as far as your drone day is concerned, it went from going really, really beautifully well to just crap. So, what's an S900? I don't even know what that is. Simon, you all right? No. Oh boy. But yeah, I mean, I'll let you guys know what happens. I mean, I could hear her. I was going to do that. So look, I'll share my screen. Can you see the screen? Yeah, you can, right? I think you can. Yeah, you can. So I don't know if the Cine is better than the Evo 2. I would say the Evo 2, if I had to sum it up, just kind of with what I know so far. Let me see what this is showing. What is this showing? Sound. Okay, there you go. You guys can hear me all right, right? Oh shoot, am I using the built-in mic? That's why. Does it actually sound well, or does that sound like shit? I thought I was using my Rode mic and I don't even have it plugged in. Crap. Can you guys hear me all right, or no? Here, hold on a second. All right, does this sound a lot better? Hopefully it does. I was using my built-in mic not even knowing. Let me change the levels. This whole thing got messed up. I just installed whatever it is, Catalina here. Sound. Rode. Okay, that's good. All right, so here, this is Final Cut. This is with my Autel Evo 2 Pro 6K. And what I was saying before I realized I wasn't using the right mic, is the Autel, basically, to sum it up, for whatever reason, just looks really good. So it just has like a look to it that just looks really pleasing. I don't know if it looks the best or better than the Cine. I didn't even have the opportunity to look at the ProRes footage out of the Cine, like enough to gauge it. But from what I saw before, I wasn't that overly impressed with the Cine footage, but I didn't really shoot anything super epic. I was just kind of shooting blah areas around where I live. But like this, for example, was a job I just shot. So again, mind you, you have to work with the clients. It's not all epic flying. They want still shots in some things. It's for engineering firms. So I just kind of edit accordingly based on their feedback, because they want some stuff legible, and it doesn't have to be all super artistic and cinematic. They just want it to be representing their spot that they built and engineered. But if you see the quality on it and the color, just looks really true to life, if I guess I had a gauge. So they basically, and this is just a still shot. Don't even mind that. That's not even Autel. Some of it looks better than others. This was a really windy day. And again, mind you, it's somewhat boring footage with some of it, but like this kind of stuff, a little jittery kind of, that looks super beautiful. A little jittery. I maybe have to add some stabilization to some of this, but like that looks so good. So some of the footage, just the way it renders color, and it just, I don't know, it's pleasing, as I said. Like some of this is not, it's too jagged, I gotta mess with some of it. And I don't even know if this is all rendered out. just showing you so you can see. But that's Autel. So for whatever that's worth, I mean, like shots like this, as I said, like just the way the color is, and I mean, I didn't even do much. This was just normal color in 6K, but it looks so nice. And I didn't really get a chance to test the Cine to see if it did, you know, the same. So I don't know. I didn't have enough time with the Cine to really gauge any of that, but for whatever it's worth, the Autel Evo 2 Pro just looks really, really good. I mean, even, you know, like I don't even know what I have. Let me see if I have a still image or something. Here I can share the screen. But say something like this. Let me see. Open this up in Photoshop. It's a RAW, but I mean, let me just kind of let me play with it 1 second. But I mean, you just seem like you can get. Whoa, what the heck's going on there? Whoa. What's going on? Something's going on with that. I don't know why that gradient made it so big, but regardless of that, I don't know what the heck just happened with that. It looks good. So the files look good out of the Evo 2 Pro. That's the bottom line. I mean, especially for photos, they just look nice. Let me get back out of here. So I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know, man. Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it. Or Thomas. I think so, vintage slots. I don't use that, honestly, with what I do. But I'm sure a lot. I don't know, honestly, if that does. I think it has some. I mean, I know it has waypoints, and I know the Cine doesn't, or the Mavic 3 doesn't have waypoints. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the Mavic, I mean, the Cine, whatever the Cine, I don't think the Autel is going to come out with an Evo 3 anytime soon. But, I mean, we still don't even have our Nanos and our lights. So anyone who's ordered, I pre-ordered a Nano Plus, and I have no idea what's going on with that. If we get it by the end of the year, I guess that's a good thing. Yeah, it's, I mean, what did I do with that, Vincent? Let me see. I probably did, here, I'll share the screen one more time. I didn't really grade it per se. I just, let me see what I did here. So I probably added a little color wheel, as you see. So I boosted the saturation and took up the highlights. Basically, that's it. I took up the highlights, not in the saturation, but just in the exposure. I mean, and you can tweak that, of course. I mean, that's obviously way too much, but, you know, it looks good. I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be perfect for this client. I mean, but maybe a little bit less, but they like things poppy, so it's fine for their usage. And I mean, it actually looks good, you know? I mean, that's a beautiful picture. I mean, I don't know. I think it looks really nice. You could even see the bird flying, cruising through. So, am I sharing the screen? Yeah, I am. Yeah, I mean, I think, let me see. Hold on 1 second. I'll share the screen one more time. And I will show you. This is not that. I mean, this was, I think, iPhone, Mavic 3 Cine, you know, that was iPhone footage. I mean, really, this was the only stuff that I shot with the Mavic. And I don't even know if this was ProRes. This wasn't ProRes. Oh, look at the file size. So this is ProRes, 7 gigs for roughly 47 seconds. And again, there's a lot of noise in the sky, and to me, the Autel looked better. I didn't really take this in to post, to color grade, or do anything, but there's definitely noise. It's playing back really badly because it's ProRes, and it's just through the Finder window. But I thought, personally, the Evo 2 Pro did a better job. So, I mean, this again, here, we'll show you full screen. But you can see a lot of noise in this shadow area that I didn't think looked as pleasing as with the Evo 2 Pro 6K. The Evo 2 Pro 6K, let me repeat that, the Evo 2 Pro 6K, it just looks kind of sharp enough and almost like a little creaminess to it. I don't know, maybe it's just the denoise thing that they've run, but it doesn't look noisy and flickery and noisy essentially. So I think the Evo 2 Pro so far looked better at night. Again, this is some other footage. Oh, I don't know what I was doing. Again, this was literally the first time. So this is the same basic zone where I flew and I lost the drone, but I was on the other side of the river. So, I mean, it looks good, but it doesn't look as good as the Evo 2 Pro 6K at night. That's just what I gathered so far. So, I mean, let me see if I have any other clips that maybe I didn't even look at. So let's see this. I mean, that looks good. What do you guys think? And this, what I was realizing, you definitely want to manually expose, but not always. The Evo 2 Pro 6K actually works well in auto mode a lot of times at night. But I don't know. I mean, as I said, I didn't have enough time. I think this wasn't even a shot. No. I mean, this kind of is cool. But again, now I want to take my Evo 2 Pro out since I can't take my Cine out because it's probably in the river or somewhere on a rooftop. But that looks cool. I mean, you know, this is manually flying around. I kind of wasn't sure what I wanted to get with this shot, but it's pretty badass actually. I wanted to keep on continuing with the motion, but I was worried about hitting this, I remember. So I just backed off the shot. I don't know if you guys ever do that where you just aren't sure exactly where you're at in the air. So you got to be really cautious. But this is definitely a cool shot that I want to go back. That's actually pretty badass. So, yeah, I'm bummed out, man, because if you would have seen the footage that I got from, let me get out of the screen share. Okay. Yeah, I think so too, Thomas. I mean, I'm bummed out, as I said. I really felt confident that I put that Cine to the test that day and got really beautiful footage. And I actually think a lot of people would have been impressed with not only the flying and the footage, but also the ability of the drone. So, you know, it kind of sucks, DJI too, that, you know, you kind of shot yourself in the foot. I mean, whatever. The drone having this hiccup prevented some really amazing footage, in my opinion, getting out there for people to see what is possible with the Cine and shooting ProRes and doing a professional workload by offing a terabyte. Because I never even seen that. I mean, I hope someone does it. I'm going to do it regardless. But I want to have, you know, a terabyte. I got the high-speed data cable here. Here it is. So no drone, but the high-speed data cable still connected to my computer. But pretty disheartening, as I said. I felt very, very close to having a really amazing day, and then it just kind of went to crap. So, but I actually am it's 4:20 right around now, which doesn't mean anything to me anymore. If I was younger, maybe it would. But I'm going to go and follow up actually with DJI and my rep about the Cine, because I kind of just wrapped up my Inspire 2 stuff. So I guess have a beautiful Thanksgiving and be thankful for what you have and not what you don't, and just stay positive. But yeah, get some rest and enjoy your day, and we'll see what happens. I'm going to let you guys know what pans out with my Cine, what DJI opts to do. They definitely will make right, I have a feeling. Not having quick shots with the Autel makes you a better pilot. Yeah, I never use quick shots, honestly, Thomas. I mean, if you can't fly manually, you just kind of, I hate relying on it, and a lot of times it doesn't even do what I want. So, I'm still practicing every single time. I mean, I even still take notes and watch videos and take screenshots and try different moves when I go out and just try to keep on practicing. I mean, again, you kind of have to do your visual push-ups every day, visually, composition-wise, as a creative or a photographer or videographer. You got to practice. You got to fly better. I mean, like the FPV guys, they're mind-blowing with what they can do, but I'm sure they practice a S-load, They probably practice a ton. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see, man. I have a feeling they have no choice. This is a pretty crappy thing. And I've had, again, a Mavic 2 zoom incident, an Inspire 2, an X5S all swapped out for new. It's like every single thing that I've had, they're replacing, and something's happened. So they know I'm not happy, and they know I'm not, a happy customer right now, and not acceptable, basically. So, but yeah, guys, have a good day or good evening and a good day tomorrow. Happy Thanksgiving. I don't know yet. I have essentially a month to return it because I'm a DJI Select member, which just means I happen to be part of that program before it expired and they quit it. But they give you 30 days to try it. And I figured I was kind of digging it, man. I mean, I felt like I would have known, honestly, a lot more after the day I lost it or whatever happened to it. I mean, I shot basically the best footage in the best conditions that I could do. I wasn't impressed with the night footage. So if I was just reliant on the night footage, I would have said no. I would have probably, just dealt with my Autel. I mean, I'm going to order an Enterprise actually anyway. I'm just waiting on them to give me a quote without the smart controller. So I'm going to order an Enterprise 6K version 2 Autel. They've been slacking. I don't know why they don't want to take my money. But regardless, I'm going to do that and just call it a day most likely. But I don't know. Maybe I would have kept it. I mean, if I was impressed with what I got and it looked as beautiful as I thought it did, I probably would have kept it just to have another drone, that was a different thing to fly. I mean, it's kind of like taking out a different car or whatever, it doesn't mean it's better, but sometimes it's fun to fly something different and have a different experience, and it forces you to shoot in a different way and create in a different way. Maybe you're capturing, the ability to capture ProRes in a smaller drone was really appealing to me. So I don't know. Once I get my Inspire 2 back and I get this guy back, I mean, I don't know. It would be nice to have 2 different drones that shoot ProRes, or the ability to. So I'm not sure, but at the same time, it's a lot of money too. So I don't know if I would have kept it vintage slots. If you buy Amazon, you have until 1/31 to return it. Yeah, that's not a bad deal. Even drones that have been activated. Simon. But regardless, guys, happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for tuning in, and have a good evening, as I said. And until then, I'll let you know what happens. Peace. Bye, guys.